Hey, what's up? I'm Rakima, and welcome to Detailed Dream. So you just bought a luxury candle, or you may already have a collection of candles, and you need to know what to do to make them last as long as humanly possible, which is very understandable. I mean, for a good luxury candle, emphasis on good, can range from as low as $20 for a candle all the way to over $600 for a really high-end candle. These are candles you really need to know what to do to make them last for as long as the brands say they do. Usually it's around 60 to 80 hours for the standard size candles. Maybe you notice that your flame is abnormally large, or you may notice that your candle is doing this weird tunneling effect that you need to know how to fix. I got you. I will show you exactly what to do to make sure that your money is well spent. I want you to get every drop of that wax out of the candles that you enjoy most. It goes with anything that requires some type of care. In some ways, I guess you can say it's kind of therapeutic. At least for me it is. This is my candle care guide with some really good tips. These are methods that I currently use to maintain the longevity of my candle collection. This is going to be structured to the life of the candle, from the first burn to the last. Before we get into the main course, here are some important things to remember even before the first burn. Yes, it's that serious. I'm going to make sure I get every dollar from these candles. So far, it has worked perfectly for me. So, when you buy a candle, you may get it home and forget about it, or you may be waiting for a special occasion to light it for the first time. Well, you have 2 months, generally speaking, to light it for the first time before a candle starts to lose its scent. After about a year or so without lighting, the fragrance will almost disappear. You will essentially have an expensive tapered candle.
What do you smell? Nothing.
The reason being is that most luxury candles are made from organic ingredients such as soy or palm wax. So over time, they can get a little stale, and that good fragrance will eventually disappear, especially when it's not stored properly. I won't get into the science behind it because we'll be here all day.
I got nothing but time.
So you finally decided to light it, yes? You just can't set that candle on a bare surface. You have to make sure it's on a heat-resistant surface. If you're not sure, there are many things that you can use. For example, there are candle holders, coasters, glass plates, and ceramic plates. I'm a ceramic plate guy myself. You want something that can absorb and dispense heat easily, especially when the candle wax is near the bottom of the glass. Have you ever seen the surface of a damaged table from not using coasters for drinks? It's not a pretty sight.
Nancy, it's bad. It's so bad.
On the good side, you will have some really good looking decor to go along with the luxuriousness of that candle. You have to take care of it, and it will take care of you. One last thing before you get into burning. This is the most important thing to ensure the candle burns correctly, and that's avoid burning near any type of draft. The slightest draft can cause the wax to burn unevenly. Also, insufficient oxygen can cause the candle to smoke, and smoke is not a good thing to be breathing in. Even though it's a small flame, it's still fire that uses oxygen to burn. Again, scientific stuff that I can go on and on about. Avoid those drafts if you want that candle to last for a long time. Let's get into burning your candle for the first time, which is by far the most important burn. A new candle should burn 1 hour for every 1 inch of the candle's diameter. Who's going to remember that? So just burn until the entire surface of the wax is liquefied. In general, that takes about 4 hours max for these standard size candles, and for those large 3-wick candles, 4 hours is the minimum. Now listen closely. This is very important. Do not, I repeat, do not blow out your candle until the entire surface is liquid. If you do not have time for this first initial process, do not light the candle. Blowing it out prematurely will trigger something called candle memory, and that's where the process of tunneling will begin. More on tunneling later. If you allow the first burn to successfully be completed, then the wax will stay flat for every burn thereafter. And the glass will also stay clean all the way down to when the wax is depleted. After this first burn, you are well on your way to get the most out of your candles. The max you should burn a candle each time after the initial burn is 3 hours max. This varies from one candle to the next, but generally you shouldn't have to burn a candle for more than 3 hours at a time, or until the entire surface is liquid. And as the wax gets lower towards the end, that time changes to no more than 2 hours for each burn. This will ensure that the fragrance is well preserved. But what happens in the event that you burn a candle for too long? The wick will start to take on the shape of a mushroom with carbon buildup. The wick becomes unstable and the flame will grow very large. Dark soot will collect around the glass of the candle and will eventually be released into the air. You're still dealing with some form of fire, so just be mindful of how long you're burning the candles for. I even set timers so I know for sure how long I had it lit. Now, you may be thinking, if I blow out a candle and light it again right after, that should restart the clock, right? No. You have to wait until the wax becomes solid again before relighting. You have to give the wax time to cure. If you relight too soon, that could cause combustion problems with the wick and the wax could burn unevenly. Which brings me to my favorite technique of all time to get rid of that tunneling effect. Is your candle being disobedient? Is it taking on a mind of its own by digging a hole down the middle of the wax? Do you need a solution to this problem? We've all experienced it at least once. It happens when a candle doesn't burn long enough to the edge and starts to create this crater down the middle of the wax known as tunneling. There's a very simple, very easy way to stop tunneling. You want to stop it early on because if it's severe, that wax is going to waste and so is your money. I want you to get your money's worth out of these candles. So what you want to do is get a piece of aluminum foil, fold it in half twice, wrap it around the rim of the glass, leaving a hole in the middle, of course. I like to get a large piece and fold it so my hands are less likely to get burned. After you wrap the rim, you want to keep checking to see if that tunneling has gone away. After about 10 minutes, it should be gone and the wax will be flat and even again. It's such a beautiful thing. And keep the foil in case you need it again in the future. This is by far the most effective way to get rid of tunneling that works 100% of the time. Again, you want to stop it early on when you see it happening after a couple burns, not when the wax is at the bottom of the glass surrounded by a wall of wax. There are 3 very helpful tools that'll help you maintain the life of your candle. Let's start with the most important tool, the wick trimmer. This is a very essential tool as you have to trim your wick every single time. There is no excuse for skipping this step. Before burning, you want to trim your wick to about 1/4 of an inch. You can even use something like scissors. Just make sure that you are trimming and clipping. The only reason why I prefer a wick trimmer is because there is this raised edge that catches the part of the wick that you just trimmed. It's an easy cleanup without having it fall into the wax with that ashiness. A trimmed wick helps with a clean burn and also keeps that flame in control. If it's too long, it will create a large flame with a black soot trail caused by carbon buildup. You will also see that soot buildup around the rim of the glass. There are 3 ways to extinguish a candle. The way we all know is blowing it out. But who wants to do that? This is not a birthday party. Get yourself either a wick dipper or a wick snuffer. You can't go wrong with either one, but I prefer the wick dipper, which is a newly created tool for candles. There's absolutely no smoke when you put out a candle using a dipper. You take the curved part and gently dip the wick into the wax and then you straighten it out again. I also use it to make sure that the wick is centered. The dipper is preferred because it perfectly primes the wick for the next burn. Don't get me wrong, there isn't anything wrong with the snuffer. It's very sophisticated but can create smoke when you put out the candle. It's just a classic way of extinguishing a candle. Dippers are great for candles in jars and glasses, while snuffers are great for tapered and pillar candles. Both are amazing options, you just have to find out what you prefer. Now, how do you store your luxury candles? How do you preserve that amazing scent for as long as possible? Something you don't want to do is have them sitting out, especially if they don't have lids. Remember, some luxury candles does not come with lids. I have most of mine stored away in their boxes to help enclose that scent. If you just have them sitting out, you run the risk of them collecting dust, which isn't good for the wax. If you have a favorite candle that you want to display, then I recommend getting a glass cloche. It's really amazing at preserving the scents, and it protects the wax from outside elements. There are many places that sell glass cloches. I got mine from Amazon. I will have links to all of the items mentioned in this video in the description below. So, your precious candle is coming to the end of its burning life. As it nears the end, you want to make sure not to burn all of the wax. You want to leave about 1/2 inch of wax at the bottom of the glass, which is also unscented wax in most cases. Brands do this to prevent heat damage to whatever surface that the candle is on. Candles are an amazing thing. For me, they are a good stress reliever. They keep my mind clear and the space around me clear with positive energy. It's more than just lighting a candle. It's a part of my lifestyle. And I love every second of this sweet, sweet wax. Time to light me up a Sear Trudon.